T.L. Matthew. I'm the founder of Some Foods, the maker of Some Sweet, and also a nutritional therapist. On this broadcast, we talk about health news and information as it applies to your everyday life. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. Yes, that means like the video. And we want to hear from you. So comment if you have something that you want to share with us. And subscribe to all of our social medias. And now, on to the broadcast. Hello, 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 hello. I hope you all can hear me. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I got the green screen behind me. No fancy background or anything like that, but I figured, well, I have it up for other videos and where I was putting a background behind me, and I so I just left it there. So try and get comfortable here, roll my chair in a little bit closer. But so anyway, welcome, 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 TL Matthew, the founder, as my intro said, of Some Foods and the maker of Some Sweet, and also a nutritional therapist. And my practice name is SARE, which stands for Sugar Addiction is Real Nutritional Therapy. You know what? I have something I wanted to bring in here with me, but I didn't. I didn't bring it. Um, I had thought about it. I had the other day. I was at checkout at Walmart, and right there at the counter, there was where they have the stuff for you to grab real quick. There was something that caught my attention. It was a package of. It was actually two things. It was a package of something called, I don't know what they were, some little jellyfish or something like that, but it said that they were keto friendly. 3 gram or maybe 2 net carbs or something like that. 1 net carb, really, really low in net carbs. Um, Swedish fish, I think that's what they were. And and then also there was uh, Reese's peanut butter, Reese's little mini Reese's peanut butter cups. They were up there, just to grab to check out. So I was like, huh. I scanned to look and see what they had in them. Now the Swedish fish had allulose. They were made with allulose. Um, so I gave, I grabbed those and to give them a taste, and no, they tasted. If you like jelly candies, if you have something that you're craving for jelly candies or something like that, and I think that might be a good alternative if that's what you have a craving for. So there were some Swedish fish, and then of course the Reese's were there, and the Reese's had maltitol in them. So I tried them. I mean, I got them both so I could just so I could taste them. I used we all know here that I used to be was a I'm a recovering sugar addict, and so and I hadn't had anything sweet and or any sugar, and so the maltitol is certainly not sugar. But the something about the maltitol is that they say that it gives you the trots, right? So it can give you the trots. It can definitely make you um, run you off to the bathroom. Now, just me just talking, just in general. Now we're gonna have some look. We all have bodily functions. We're just going to be, just let's just be adult about the conversation. If you're having dinner, you might want to, turn off or mute or whatever. Um, if you're squeamish, not that I'm going to say anything disgusting, but really, let's just be honest. So the maltitol will give you diarrhea if you consume too much of it. For a lot of people, that can be an issue, and that is that's a problem. Um it, it, it sometimes even for me that would be a problem, except I was a person that, because I guess maybe because of the diet, my digestive system was way slow, so I spent a maybe I don't even think it was that. My mom said I was a constipated baby, so so something that's going to make me go to the bathroom, I often be like, okay, it's going to make me go to the bathroom, especially if I if I feel like I've been constipated or not having went regular, you should go with every meal at least 2 to 3 times a day. You should go. And most of us are probably very well constipated. Um, I think it's something that we really should consider. When somebody says that you're full of, considering that you probably are walking around with about 2 to 3 pounds of in your body, so yeah. So anytime you can get a good flush, a good cleaning out, I don't mind that. So I tried them, but that didn't happen to me. So I didn't get the trots. Certain candies I have tried it, and I've gotten the trots, got diarrhea like immediately. But I didn't with the Reese's. Maybe it was just because they were too small and wasn't enough for me to be able to eat, like overindulge in and then end up with diarrhea. But definitely got gas. Yeah, bubble gut. Definitely a lot of gas. And I know that I hadn't eaten anything any different to get the gas, so I'm pretty sure that came from trying to eat, from eating those candies with the maltitol. Um, but yeah. So anyway, my daughter, she ate one and she's like, "Oh, mom, let me taste it, and let me have one." I was like, "Okay, I know you got this," and she was like, "Okay, I'll taste it." She tasted it and she was like, "Ugh, those are nasty." Now to me, they didn't taste that bad. I'll be honest, they didn't taste that bad. The Swedish fish, they didn't taste that bad. The good thing about it is well, and the other thing about maltitol is that it does spike your insulin. So it is insulin spiking. So if you are diabetic, you really want to be careful with maltitol. It's not very, it will still spike your insulin. So allulose will not. All right. So allulose is not processed by the liver, and it does not create an insulin spiking situation. But anyway, with that being said, today what we're going to talk about is, what if you stopped eating sugar for 30 days? Um, a couple years back when I first started the company, I did a kick sugar, quit eating sugar campaign. Didn't go anywhere because most people, y'all really don't want to quit eating sugar. You really don't. And I almost can't blame you because I know sugar is addictive. But but knowing what sugar does to you, you really should quit eating sugar. That's all. I mean, that's really the only thing that I can say. But again, that's what I'm going to do a lot of talking about that. Next month is in November is Diabetes Awareness Month. I'll be reviewing some videos and reacting to some videos that have to do with diabetes. But in the meantime, I want to share this with you. I'm never going to stop talking about this subject, because and I'll have to get a picture or get everything lined up where I can show you a picture. But I lost my grandmother to diabetes, my mother's mom, and she had 10 kids, right? And a great, I can't say how many of them. I could count them, but at least half of them have diabetes. My aunts, two of my aunts had husbands or spouses. Their husbands both died of diabetes. One went very long, a big, strong, strapping man, and he lost his legs, he lost his sight, and all of that to diabetes. So you know, I had another uncle that I lost. He died. He was bedridden, and diabetes again. So I'm not going to stop talking about it. Never going to stop talking about it. Once I found a voice and found something that I wanted to talk about, aside from my faith, was about quitting sugar. And when I say that, you know, um, just statistically, 1 in 3 people are pre-diabetic and they don't know it. These are huge numbers. we don't pay attention to how huge these numbers really are. This is really a big deal, right? So 1 in 3 people pre-diabetic don't know it. 1 in 5 people um, are diabetic. They say 1 in 5 maybe diabetic, and so the numbers are just like they're staggering, right? And it affects Black and brown people, the most. I'm not saying that other people are not affected, not saying that at all. But Black and brown people, we're affected in high numbers, you know. And Black people, I remember growing up, we like our Kool-Aid, or Kool-Aid with sugar, right? We like sugar with our Kool-Aid, or is it Kool-Aid with our sugar? You know what I'm saying? If you didn't put half of the bag of sugar, the 5 pound bag of sugar in the Kool-Aid, it wasn't good, right? Pretty much we were making a syrup and drinking it. That's like when you drink a slushy, right? That syrup that they poured over the ice, and yeah, that's pretty much what we made, except for it just didn't get as thick as syrup, but a thick like syrup because it wasn't cooked down or whatever, but it was concentrated, but it was liquid syrup, sugar syrup, and that's what we were drinking. So that was sugar, and then of course when they came out with putting high fructose corn syrup in drinks, we continued to drink that, and that increased everyone's appetite for sugar, right? So your taste buds increased for sugar, and it is a taste thing because I didn't like fruit personally because fruit wasn't sweet enough. It's like it was bland, no, and flavorless. But now that I don't eat sugar, fruit is actually really good. you can I can taste the sugar in it, so fruit is actually really good. So you know yeah, that's I mean that's really that's really it. But you have to give up that diet of sugar. Yeah, I know it's hard, and you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to keep on talking about it because that's why we're fat. Fat does not make you fat. Fat does not spike insulin, right? Fat might go into your body, but it doesn't spike insulin. And insulin is the fat storing hormone, and this is why we're fat. You may not be diabetic, you may not be pre diabetic, and praise whoever you serve. But, but, a lot of us are fat and pre diabetic or diabetic. Okay? So let's just be honest. This is real talk here. Okay? So I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop. Um, and yeah, I'm never gonna stop. Lost too many people that I love, and sugar is a drug of a different sort. So let's get into this video. I want to see what this doctor has to say here. So this is a video. I'm gonna pop it up here. I'm gonna keep talking in the background. We might share screens there. Oh, let me make that bigger. Let me make it bigger. Trying to make it bigger.
Hello, health champions.
It's easier.
What would happen if you stopped eating sugar for 30 days? And when I say sugar, I'm talking about anything that has calories and tastes sweet. That means sugar, honey, agave, high fructose corn syrup, rice syrup. They're all disaccharides, meaning there's two molecules linked together, small molecules. They get processed very quickly. And other than the fact that they have different ratios of glucose and fructose, that's the two molecules linked together, they're pretty much the same. All right? They still affect your body very much the same. Glucose Glucose raises blood sugar and spikes insulin and causes insulin resistance over time, and fructose clogs up the liver and causes insulin resistance that way. So sugar is the most important thing to avoid, the classic idea of sugar, something that tastes sweet. But we also want to be aware of the other type of sugar, which is polysaccharide, also known as starch. And this is what we find in bread and potatoes and corn and so forth. They don't have the fructose, but they have hundreds or thousands of these glucose molecules linked together.
Had to mute my mic there. I wanted to pause that and just jump in here and say that when he's talking about the polysaccharide starch, the glucose molecules, what we're talking about here are going to be simple carbs, very very simple carbs. So as he's explaining that, and I think we've had a couple of videos where we talked about simple carbs versus complex carbs. But let me go on here.
And it's only a matter of minutes before this starch turns into glucose and starts spiking your blood sugar. That's why the glucose, the blood sugar impact between sugar and bread is pretty much the same. So I want to talk about some of the short-term things you would notice, some of the mid-term, but also some of the long-term benefits, with special emphasis on what happens to the brain. Probably the very first thing that would happen is that you get some cravings. And like a lot of things, it might get a little worse before it gets better. Because what happens here is if your body is used to sugar and carbohydrates, that's the typical fuel that you have been provided, and now you stop it, your body is not going to know where to get the fuel, where to get the energy. So when you eat carbs on a regular basis, you spike blood sugar, the insulin suppresses the blood sugar, and you get a blood sugar roller coaster. You get unstable blood sugar. And normally, whenever your blood sugar was low, you would just eat some sugar or some carbs and you would bring it back up. But now, your body doesn't know where to get that fix. So
Okay, and this spike that he's talking about, that spike is actually what's going to cause you to uh, gain a lot of weight. That it's that constant spike because your blood sugar is going to be spiked high, and remember I said once it's spiked. So he's talking about it addressing the fact that it's going to spike your blood sugar, and then go and scavenge and grab all of um, the I mean, go scavenge the sugar and usher it to the cells for energy. But when you have an elevated blood sugar already and it's constantly elevated, then the cells, as the insulin is scavenging for the sugar to take it to your cells for you to use for energy, your body, your cells say no, thank you. It doesn't want it, and the only cells open to receive it are your fat cells. Let's continue on.
It has to first repair its metabolic machinery a little bit. And it doesn't take very long. It's only going to take a few days, something like 2, 3, 4 days for your body to start adapting and learning how to get energy somewhere else. And in a few days' time, you will reduce your insulin levels. And when insulin goes down, your body will upregulate some of the fat-burning enzymes, and you'll learn how to make energy that way. But in the meantime, you're going to have a few days that you probably have some cravings. So just stick with it, because the first few days is probably the only big hurdle. Besides,
Okay, I'm going to address something here as a former sugar addict. No, you're going to have more than 3 days. Okay, you're going to have more than 3 days, and it's not going to be just look. Well, I can just speak for personally, right? Yeah, I wasn't making it 3 days without sugar. My family was going to be destroyed. It's not just a simple. It's not simple like that, like how he's making it sound. It just isn't. But Yeah, you'll have a few days. If you are truly insulin resistant and have been on a steady diet of sugar, 3 days is not your ministry, okay?
Cravings, you're also probably going to get some withdrawal symptoms because sugar and carbs is an addiction. And just like cocaine and heroin, they feed into a reward pathway in the brain that has to do with dopamine. And when we trigger dopamine, we get an initial sense of pleasure, and that's why we seek out these things. That's why we get tremendous pleasure from them. But in the long run, when we get habituated, now that turns into dependence. And now it's more like a baseline that if we don't get it, now we feel horrible. And that's what the withdrawal is all about. And like,
Okay, so you guys see that there, right? So, like, I have been saying it, but it's nice that there's somebody else. This is a doctor. He's talking about this, and you see that he has sugar, cocaine, and heroin in the same sentence, okay? On the same line. That should really scare you. That should really let you know how serious that this is. We don't talk about sugar like that. We don't say it's just sugar, it's just sugar. But you see this, I've been saying it. It's nice when there's somebody else saying it. Sugar, cocaine, and heroin are in the same line. Okay. So anyway.
Wayne Dyer used to say, an addiction is when you can't get enough of what you don't want. And I think if you think about sugar and comfort foods, that description fits pretty well, that you really don't want it, but you still can't get enough of it. Dopamine is a natural substance, so it's absolutely necessary for us. It's what gives us drive and desire and goals. It helps us fulfill goals because it helps us focus on potential rewards. And when we get it in nature, it is very finely balanced and tuned, so we get just the right amount. But when we get it via sugar stimulating the pathway and with cocaine and heroin that can fit directly in the pathway, they're isolated forms. They're purified, they're refined, they're many, many times stronger than anything we would ever find in nature. So sugar is natural in berries and plants and vegetables, but it has maybe 1 or 2% in a vegetable. The sugar is pure, and the cocaine and the heroin are very strongly concentrated. So now with the
So when he's talking about that sugar in berries and fruits and things like that and vegetables, what's also inside of that, the fruit and vegetable, is fiber, right? So fiber is actually slowing down the digestion of the sugar and stopping it from being able to instantly spike your blood sugar. But if you juice those things, then that concentrates the sugar. That's why I've said before, don't that we should you should not be juicing. If you are insulin resistant, you should not be juicing. You need to eat your fruits and vegetables whole so you can get the fiber.
these isolated forms, the effect is many, many times stronger. So now we bypass this fine-tuned regulation that the body normally does, and over time we get desensitized. The tissues don't respond as much anymore to that strong dose, and we need more and more and more.
Now I don't know what eating pizza has to do with when we're talking about sugar, but
Many of you will probably remember an ad campaign that ran years ago where they said, bet you can't eat just one. And it was a potato chip company who shall remain unnamed. But what it means is that they are very well aware that they're selling an addiction. And not only are they aware of it, they know all this stuff, but apparently they're proud of it too. Now you may be asking, why is it then, if these substances are so addictive, why is it that some people can drink alcohol without becoming alcoholics, and some people can eat sugar without becoming sugar addicts? And it's because we're wired differently. But also addiction varies because of how our brain is configured. Where are our strong and weak areas? Because they talk to each other. So we have some lower centers. That's the midbrain over here, marked in red. And that's associated with more primitive functions like pleasure and survival. Whereas the higher centers have to do with executive function, with thinking, motivation, and control. The lower centers respond and produce pleasure. They feed into this reward pleasure pathway. You're going to notice less cravings. Only a few days.
All right, so I'm just skipping past all of that stuff where he's, you know, making all those comparisons and talking about that stuff, and we're just gonna go on to what happens if you stop eating sugar for 30 days. If you want to see more of that, go and check out his video. So, but I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna just see what happens.
But if you make it through the first few days, it gets a whole lot better. Now you're going to notice less cravings. Only a few days into this, you will start to stabilize your blood sugar and your body will start becoming fat adapted. So that results in less cravings. Also, after just a few days, you will notice less hunger. This is partially because of the more stable blood sugar. You don't have those constant swings. But also now, after a few days, your insulin is starting to come down, your insulin levels. And insulin is a storage hormone. It locks away the fat.
Okay, so one again, now listen, don't get mad at me if I keep interrupting because look, I just want to explain something. He's talking about somebody who's just moderately has a moderate problem with sugar. Even though he's saying addiction, there are varying levels of addiction. So again, stable blood sugar, lower insulin, some of these things these are some things that you may not, you're not gonna, you may or may not instantly see in the 3 days the way he's talking about it, because again, quitting sugar and giving that up and having all these things come into align, having your body come into alignment is going, if you've been on a steady diet of sugar for years, it may be a while before you start to see some of this. You will eventually get into, and I think he talks a lot about ketosis or keto. So you will eventually get into keto. But again, if it was this easy and 3 days was it, and da da da, people, we wouldn't have people who were dying from diabetes when the doctor, as soon as they find out and the doctor says, you got to stop eating this, stop eating that, they would be just like, okay, in 3 days, then everything would be all great.
So with less insulin, now you can start accessing that fat. It allows fat burning and allows access to that body fat. And of course, a huge benefit, which is maybe the biggest reason people try this, is that now you get some weight loss. And when we look at the brain, we also see some big improvements. Most people are going to notice an improvement in mood. Their mood lifts. They have less of a tendency for depression and anxiety. They notice improved mental clarity and improved focus. They get more done. And the reason these things happen are several. Again, stable blood sugar. Why? Because the brain is the primary reason blood sugar is so tightly controlled. We love to have it around 100. We can get a coma from either very high blood sugar or very low blood sugar. So the brain really, really likes it at a tight control level. And mostly the brain depends on glucose for fuel. But if you become insulin resistant, then the brain may not be getting all the energy it needs from the glucose. And that's what people find. You become fat adapted and you quit the sugar and the starch. Now you go really, really low on carbohydrates. You're going to find you make some ketones. And ketones are an alternative fuel for the brain. So if your brain can't get it from the gluten.
Okay, so I think we're gonna stop there. But just just base my reaction. See, now he's going into talking about keto. But again, if you want to see, finish watching the video or see more about what it is that he's going to say about keto and ketones and all of that, then you can go and check out his video, check out the rest of the video. But I just was interested in the first part because that's a lot of what we spend time talking about here, is the fact that how sugar impacts your body. And I'm not pushing a keto diet, but fat is, but keto, is like a high fat, moderate protein, low carb diet. And it's good if you can do it. I don't necessarily say how long term it is, and some people can get started on it. But like I said, I tried keto; it didn't work for me. And the reason why it didn't work was because I ran into issues with my electrolytes, so I couldn't keep my electrolytes in line, and that's gonna happen. That happens to a lot of people with keto. Is they have electrolyte issues, so I didn't like the numbness and tingling in my extremities and heart palpitations and stuff like that. I didn't like that. So keto was not working for me. Yes, I didn't have proper electrolytes, and they were imbalanced. But with that being said, you can see what he said. I mean, that line with sugar, cocaine, and heroin being right there together. I mean, isn't that enough to like tell you that sugar is something that you don't want to do? I mean, you're not going out and just doing cocaine and heroin. And if sugar's having the same effect on your body as cocaine and heroin, I mean, that's kind of that that's scary. That to me was, that was a huge wake up call for me, you know. But yeah. So you let me know what you think. What do you all think? I mean, because I just wanted to share that, and put that out there. Just if you like content like that with the reviews and stuff, and me talking over the video, then just let me know. Drop a comment, and let me know, and what is it that you want to talk about? You got a question, got a health question or something like that? I will say this, I am not a medical doctor. This is not advice for you to go take and run with, like, to your medical. I do not replace a medical doctor. I work alongside with your health professionals to help to give you insight and commentary and things like that, to help you with what it is that you're trying to do. But I'm not a medical doctor. This advice is not to replace your doctor's advice. Go see your doctor before you start any before you do anything. Go see your doctor. I'm not a doctor. So y'all be coming for me saying, she told me to do this. Now, not if you looked at this video. Now, if you signed up and you came and consulted with me and actually had a contract with me, and I made some suggestions to you or something like that, then you can say I told you to do something. But right now, we just having a conversation. But I will tell you to try some sweet. If you are planning on trying to quit sugar and you don't want to get the headaches and the withdrawal symptoms, you saw that girl rocking back and forth like, like she was pull my hair out, yeah, because that's how serious sugar is. The candy bar, they say, oh, when you get hangry, you become a different person. That's what trying to quit sugar will do to you. That's why they say, shut up and eat your eat this Snickers bar, right? Because you was hangry. So if you don't want to be like that, then of course try some sweet. Use some sweet. Again, I'm telling you, this is what I used, and yes, I make the product, so um, yeah, I make it, but it's what helped me. I am really sugar free, and like I said, I said the other day, I was drinking um, tea. Going when I go through some place and ask for, can I get some unsweet tea? Because I would add some sweet to the unsweet tea, and then when I didn't have some sweet, well, hey, I drank the tea. I drank the tea unsweetened. So it didn't even have the flavor of sweet, nothing, because I drank it, I was able to drink it straight and really enjoy it because it was cool and refreshing, and I was able to enjoy it. And I'm not in my office. I'm in so if you heard the bark, I am not in my office. I'm at home. But yeah, so but I was able to drink the tea and enjoy it because it was cool and refreshing, and it didn't have any sweetener in it. Now, if you're not there, but you want to get there, then you need to give some sweet a try. Because I can bypass on the like I said, I checked out on the at the counters, at the checkout stands and stuff like that. I can bypass sweet stuff. I don't have to stop and get anything sweet, and I don't have to try something sweet just because somebody has something sweet. I don't have to try it, so I'm free to avoid, trying that. I'm free because I'm not addicted to sugar anymore like that. I don't have to have something sweet, but I just would, that was something that I wanted to just review that and just share that with you. If you like um, these, like, again, if you like this type of content, let me know. Let me know if you got any questions, or if you just want to come on and just chat with me. Matter of fact, if you know people, somebody that's if you know someone that's diabetic, and they want to come and have a conversation about their progress in their diabetes and what they've learned, and they have some things that they'd like to share, I'd like to talk to them. Go ahead and hit me up, inbox me, let me know. Go over to go to my website, sairnt.com, and just click on the info box and drop me a line over there. Sure, I'd would love to have a conversation with them. But I'm going to wrap this up because I don't know what he's barking at, and I don't know where my child is with him. I thought they had went for a walk. But I'm going to wrap this up because I've been going for about 38 minutes now, and I think that's quite long enough. But again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. Please visit the website, sairnt.com. If you want to get a nutritional assessment, if you want to get a fat loss assessment, they're over there. You can get a free one. If you want to get a hold of the Subsweet, you can go to sumsweet.com. That's SUMSWEET.com. You get Sumsweet, which is allulose, or Sumsweet Plus, which is a combination of that. And we got a great new blend coming out as well. So I've been working on that. So I'm very excited about that one as well. So yeah, just head over there to the websites and check us out. If you like this, subscribe, leave a comment, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you today. So till next time, peace and blessings.